handed to frame, who crawled through a river of shit and came out clean on the other side.
Not even supposed to be here today.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. This is Shifting Focus, the show where we talk movies, TV shows, books, whatever strange and wonderful things catch our attention this week in entertainment media. And we bring it all to you, right here, right now, same bat time, same bat channel. This week, we will review Lego Batman movie and count down our top 5.5 movies based on inanimate objects. But first, let's talk about some of the big news items that we've seen around the web this week. Originally, I had actually planned to start off talking to you both about how Warner Brothers had officially landed Matt Reeves as the director for Batman. However, just yesterday, it seems, the negotiations have already broke down and Matt Reeves will no longer direct. That only took 2 days here, guys. My question to you is, what is Warner Brothers doing over there that keeps these people away?
I have no idea. I mean, they seem to be struggling quite a bit for landing DC in the movies. I've said it before. TV with DC, they've got it. It's fantastic. Anything they're doing in the movies, they're just struggling.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying too hard. And the talent is starting to realize it and wants nothing to do with it.
Right, and The Flash, though, has gone through 3 directors already and is doing its page 1 rewrite. And now the Batman, in very little time, has gone through 2 directors and also a page 1 rewrite. Whatever they're asking of directors who come onto a project, it doesn't seem to be sticking with people. Is it?
I think it's too much pressure. They're trying to build what Marvel did, starting with
over
Iron
10
Man.
years.
Yeah, and they're trying to do that in less than 2.
Right. And
less than 2. They're trying to do it in 2 movies.
Yeah.
You're right. They pretty much kicked it off with a bang with Batman v Superman, in that you had brought everyone together. It was almost like Avengers 1, and that you get all these people together to fight this threat. And yet, yeah, you're right. Marvel took a good 10 years
before
to
the
get
first
there.
Before the first Avengers, we had Iron Man 1, we had Captain America 1, we had
Iron Man
Thor
2.
1, we had Iron Man 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Then the Avengers. We had 5 movies.
So then, I don't understand, though, how Warner
technically
Brothers...
the Hulk, right?
Yeah. I don't know why they're doing so much rewriting, though, either. Then, if they obviously had an idea of what they wanted to do, because they just jumped right into it with Batman vs. Superman, but yet they're completely rewriting these future movies that I would imagine would be something to do with the things that have come before, no?
Well, and that's just it. Is they see, that wasn't as good as Marvel. We're going to do it different. And they start all over again. And they're doing it over and over and over again. If they don't stop and just they need to stop looking outside and make their own product. And they're not going to do it because it's Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is owned by Time Warner. And as we all know, Time Warner is the evilest company in the world.
They're getting gun shy. There's so much pressure to make this their next big asset, their next big enterprise, that they're listening to everyone's criticisms. They're reading every comment on YouTube, on the internet, and it's hitting, like it's hit the nerves on them, and they're now scared to move forward.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably just not an environment that looks very appealing to potential directors.
Especially after they're getting all these bashing.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll do it.
Right?
I am more than willing to sit down in that chair and direct.
I'll get this shit back on
No
course.
chance.
So
It'll be the best Batman movie of all time.
To talk about
Suck it,
another...
Christopher Nolan.
With Eggman as the villain.
You're so modest. You're so
Condiments Man.
modest, Mike. All right, so speaking of failed movies, the new X-Men movie might actually begin filming this year, with starring probably the young cast that they established back in last year's X-Men Apocalypse. Now, this news comes from an interview with Sophie Turner, the actress who plays Sansa Stark on Game of Thrones. She spoke about her filming schedule this year and said that it's pretty much the next X-Men film is on the slate to be filmed this year. What are your guys' opinions, to start off with, I guess, of last year's X-Men Apocalypse?
I just want to say real quick that she is known for being a great liar. She did a really good job in between season 5 and 6 of Game of Thrones of throwing everybody off, and she could be doing that again.
Yeah, but you throw someone off by saying that something's not happening, or that something's up in question, not that You don't tease them by saying we're gonna. That's like a threat. That's like in your description. Now she's threatening people. We're gonna make another one.
No, she wasn't. She
Try and
wasn't.
stop me.
She wasn't threatening people between the 2 seasons. She was just talking about how she misses John and all this. And it turns out that he's not dead. Like she convinced. People that.
But it doesn't make sense. She wouldn't do that for this. No one would say, "Yeah, we're filming as a psych out to people so that we don't think they actually are." Like that's not what's at.
But no one's talked about how they're making another X-Men movie. Maybe she's got some other project on the side and she's trying to hide it. She's trying to hide a project she's working on.
Not likely.
I'm just saying.
This is her new smokescreen for the next Game of Thrones
or some other movie that she's working on. Like I said, she did a really good job with the Jon Snow thing, and yeah, we'll see.
No, that doesn't apply here.
It could. It very well could.
Anyway, so going back to opinions about X-Men Apocalypse.
It's ridiculous.
It was a ridiculous movie, but it was.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's talk X-Men then. I really liked X-Men Apocalypse, but I'm a massive X-Men fan, so to me it was just sort of the comic book come to life like it never has before, but also just very not in a good way. It wasn't a good movie.
I mean, any X-Men movie, any comic book movie that they bring to the theaters, I'm going to see.
Right?
Doesn't matter what the reviews say. Doesn't matter what other people are telling me. I'm still going to want to see it for myself. So they've sold that ticket to me.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
But they're not. It wasn't considered the best of the best movies.
It wasn't. No,
and so you can imagine the producers, if they were Time Warner, actually they're Fox, saying that that's not something they would continue with. They wouldn't want to continue down this thread.
But don't they? Do they have a license where they have to keep it moving? Otherwise, Marvel gets it back.
Probably, actually.
Probably.
But I would imagine
Marvel has that on everything else.
They should. I mean, I imagine they're just waiting. Like we've got it. They've got like a big.
Well, that's why they made the last Fantastic Four movie, was just because they had to, because they were going to lose the rights. And we saw what happened there. A movie I wish didn't exist.
One of my big issues with
there's more than one. There's more than one famous Fabulous Four that we wish didn't exist.
This is a joke from something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, you liked any of the Fantastic Four movies?
I thought you were telling it someone's joke, like a stand-up routine.
No, you're saying
their first attempts. Well, I don't know about the first attempts. The most recent attempt, no, I didn't care for. The ones before that, yeah, I enjoyed those.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked the first one. The second one, not so much. But the first one, I really liked.
With what's her name?
Yeah,
Jessica Alba.
Again, I mean, they're not good movies, but they were enjoyable superhero movies. Anyway, I wouldn't mind seeing more of the younger cast. I just hope they just keep Bryan Singer away from it, because he's not doing the movies any justice.
And I want them to take better care of some of the characters. With Apocalypse, they brought in some cool characters we hadn't seen before, but all they did was cut out kind of their basics and their appearance, like Psylocke.
Yeah.
She was nothing like the character in the comic books, right? They essentially cut out the bodysuit and the fighting style.
Which was fantastic to see on screen, and was like, how come you haven't been doing things like this for the previous movies? He's so quick to cut a character's powers or their costume away and keep just the name, but yet somehow he did the exact opposite with Psylocke.
But none of that original character was there.
Yeah, no.
Same with Angel, and then became Archangel. Those are really cool characters that all they did was provide cutouts of them to superimpose into this movie.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. So what are we talking about? Should they make another one?
That's what I was disappointed. I want them to do better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll happily see more. I want them to do better. And if they're going to use the characters, I want them to flush it out and make the best use of that character. Don't just include it for the eye candy or the draw.
Here's hoping, right? It looks like they're turning Wolverine, like a good movie coming out soon for that. Mm-hmm. So maybe they'll keep that up. So
speaking of Fox doing things good, one of the execs at Fox is talking about shortening the theatrical window to get movies into your house quicker, which I am a fan of.
Did they say how much they want to shorten it by?
No, but my point of view is any shortening leads to zero, right?
But so, is that really a good thing?
Yeah, I am fully. I am a big fan of having my choice. Either I go to the movie or I watch it at home. I don't need you to make that choice for me. I'm more than willing to make
Sure.
that choice myself.
I know there's a service out there that being worked on where, yeah, you'll be able to rent it on the same day instead. I think that's...
The day that's available for me, I'll have it.
Yeah.
But
Jump
I mean,
all
that
over
also comes with a cost, right? So people are
Oh,
still
yeah.
going to weigh out the fact, especially if it's a kids movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they going to take the family, or are they going to spend the extra money to see it at home in their own home theater? Because really, some of these movies, especially if you're taking your entire family, it's going to be a lot easier for them to see it at home. The kids aren't really going to care as much unless it's a big 3D movie, right? The 3D experience at home doesn't really compare to the movie theater 3D experience.
No, that's true.
Well, honestly, neither experiences are... A home theater experience is nowhere near what you'll get in a movie theater. It doesn't matter what you have in your home. You can get, that's what you're always trying to claw to. You're trying to get closer and closer to that, but it's just not the same. Now, if all we're talking about, though, is moving a movie's rental date to be the same as the theater date and at an extremely high price to... I don't know why they'd make it so high, but they have to make it worthwhile for themselves, I guess, to make the equivalent ticket price.
The talk is $50.
Yeah, but if you're talking about like the movie actually coming out to own, which is still a very large market, that they can't shorten.
So maybe they'll just be shortening so it'll be in theaters and available on video on demand for rental,
like limited
not for
time,
owner.
first week.
Yes.
Yeah, just for rental, one-time view, $50.
I mean,
I think that works. That's a fantastic idea. I know that's what a lot of companies, I guess, are pushing for, and everyone's going with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah, I'd pay for certain movies.
Any shortening of that is better. There's
Thing
so
is,
many movies that we go see in theaters just so we can see them that don't deserve to be seen in theaters. Yeah. And I'd much rather just get a bunch of people come over and watch it at home, save them money.
Or even for this coming weekend, usually my wife and I will go to a movie on Family Day. It was just part of our kind of like what's become our routine for Family Day. We're like, we're going to go see a movie. And I looked, I'm like, there's nothing that I need to see in the theater that I'm not already seeing, or it was more especially that she'd want to see as well. Mm-hmm. So that experience, like Hidden Figures, I want to see that movie. I don't need to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
La La Land, don't need to see it in the theater. You know, there's quite a few there that it's not drawing me into that experience.
Yeah.
The disaster movies, those are fantastic in the theater.
And I guess it's a personal opinion thing, because I saw La La Land in theaters, and it was an incredible way to experience that movie. It's an amazing movie. And it's my vote for winning Best Picture this year at the Oscars, and I couldn't imagine having not seen it in theaters. It was an incredible spectacle.
And even just from watching the trailers, it doesn't draw me in to feel the need to experience it in that environment.
Yeah.
And like I said, it comes down to, I guess, personal opinion then. And I suppose that's what you just want to give people, is the option to just have an opinion, I suppose.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of that idea. Also in the news, they're remaking Raid, because, you know, the rave right now is to remake every movie 5 minutes after you finish filming it, the first one. We're going to remake it again. According to I think it was the director, or the director said it's not a remake, it's a reimagining. And I just want to let him know that's what you call a remake. You can't just call it another re-word, and it's no longer a sin.
I mean,
it's a rehash.
Did you not pay for like adaptation rights? Obviously they must have, if they're calling it the Raid.
I mean, yeah.
So that makes it a remake. You're not... If it was a reimagining, it could be its own wholly different thing.
Well,
should they call it a mulligan?
No, because isn't that if you did it bad the first time?
Yeah, but the first movie was great.
Yeah. So this isn't a mulligan. This is going right into the trash. This is such a bad idea.
They're rehashing of the movie.
No, I said recash. So like they're trying to
rehash
the same
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Recash.
So
it's a terrible idea, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm so numb to it now. There's just everything good gets remade, as long as you can. Because to you or I, it doesn't matter. We'll never watch this, and we will, and we'll hate it or whatever. But we'll always have the original if that's what we want to go back to and watch. But you know, unfortunately, to a lot of people, this might be like the only time they see this movie, and it's like, well, go see the fucking original.
Go see the original. The other thing he said, you can't remake The Raid, guys. It's a fantastic film, so ask yourself, why would you be doing anything unless we had done something really special? That's the director of the movie.
I hate him so much.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He says he also says that it's a mix between his 2011 project, The Grey, and his 2002 project, Narc. So really what he's done is he's taken 3 movies that don't need to be remade and remaking all 3 of them into one.
Recashing.
Recashing.
Okay. Yep,
Yeah,
recash.
recashing. He is cashed out.
Well, tell us, Dave, maybe what some director we care about is up to.
Speaking of re-imaging and reboots, I may not have mentioned this to you guys before, more than a dozen times. I'm a bit of a fan of Kevin Smith.
No.
I am, I know. And he's been posting on Instagram lately about that he's working on the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. So 16 years ago, Kevin Smith gave his fans exactly what they wanted, a movie starring your favorite Jersey dynamic duo, Jay and Silent Bob. 9 days ago, Kevin Smith revealed that he is bringing them back to the big screen. Currently, it's titled Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. The movie features the pair heading back to Hollywood to try and stop the reboot of Bluntman and Chronic.
You know, I'm actually kind of okay with that.
Well, the idea is...
No, this is a fucking terrible idea.
Oh, it's a great idea.
No, it's the dumbest idea.
It's that. So the whole point is...
I love Jay and Silent Bob. I love Kevin Smith. This is such a bad idea.
Why?
They're rebooting the movie to reboot the movie.
Yeah,
in rebooting the movie. This is mind-numbingly brilliant.
It's all tongue-in-cheek. No. It's making fun of the fact that Hollywood seems to be obsessed with rebooting, relaunching, re-imaging.
Yeah, so he's doing the same thing.
Exactly.
He's treating this as a reboot of his own movie.
No, but it's a parody of a reboot.
He's not doing it
as
a reboot.
Movie.
He is making a sequel.
Yeah.
Making fun of the fact
but it's going
that
to be a reboot of
its.
But it's going to be a remake of its own movie. It's going to be a remake of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
With all full cast.
It's going to be everybody.
Coming back
it's going to be the same jokes. They're going to try to film at the same locations. It's practically going to be a shot-for-shot fucking remake.
Hold on. Have you not seen a Kevin Smith movie? They're always the same jokes. Every movie is the same joke. That's what makes it funny. They bring jokes from one movie into another one. What
people really wanted was Mallrats 2 and Clerks 3, and he couldn't deliver that to us.
Okay, so I looked into that because, I got excited about, there's he's going to make another sequel to one of his movies. But he's also promised that to us twice before, and then slowly kind of pushed those to a side. So I started with Clerks 3, trying to figure out what happened to it. With Clerks 3, the main reason the idea died was because the movies are based around 4 main characters. He didn't name those 4 main characters, but he says they're 2 groups of 2 pairs of 2 guys. So it's kind of difficult to guess who they are, right? And he said, and one of those guys is not interested in doing the movie again. So it's not Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
No.
And they've already said that this movie is going to be very much Randall focused. So although they haven't named who's not interested,
it's probably him.
If Randall's not interested in doing the movie, you can't do a Randall movie.
Yeah.
Okay. And without the 4 of them, he says it's not a Clerks movie, so there's no point in doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't. I mean, if the talent doesn't want to come to play, you can't do it. Fair enough. What about Mallrats 2?
Mallrats 2, he started with that after getting a bit burned with Clerks 3 and having someone drop out. He wanted to do a bit less of an investment, so he wanted to flesh it all out first. So he had pretty much everybody on board, except for one more famous actor/director who's busy in Gotham now. But he was working with Universal to get that remade. Universal would not give up the rights to that movie. They originally gave him the option to either fund it himself or fund it with them, or they were going to pay for it. So if they said no, then he could go out and get money elsewhere. They've now come back and said that they're not going to let him do that because in the history of all their movies, they have never given up one of their products. And they're not
who
going to
was
start
this
that
again?
now. This was at the studio.
What studio?
Universal.
Oh, fucking Universal.
Yeah.
The second evilest company in the world.
So then it got pushed. They said, okay, we're not really
How
sure
is Disney the only good company in the movie industry now?
Because they own everything. So Universal kind of kicked it around for a bit, and they said, okay, we're going to try you in the TV division. TV division said, you know what, sounds great. Kevin Smith got excited because now he gets to draw it out a bit more. He gets to make it into a TV series instead of just a movie. Right?
Instead of 2 hours, you got 13.
Exactly. He gets to play with the characters. Then they had to try to pitch that out to different networks. Tried, failed.
Netflix.
Nobody was biting. Netflix
really
turned it down.
They like everything.
Yeah. Apparently not this.
Ooh.
So, or maybe they just didn't like.
Maybe they don't like
conditions.
Universal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be because of Universal. It could be conditions that came with it. So that's what brought him back to Jay and Silent Bob because he owns them. he doesn't have to, like, he worked with studios to make the movie, but he ultimately owns those characters and he can do what he wants.
Well, I like Kevin Smith, and I'll obviously going to put my trust in him that he can somehow pull off a Jay and Silent Bob reboot, remake, and it not be bad.
And he's even going to be...
It really sounds like it should be in every way.
He's even going to be working on a new TV show. He just, they announced with BBC America. So this guy...
He's always talking about one TV show or one movie he's going to work on next. Last time I saw him, he was talking about some TV show based on this book. I forget what it was. I was really excited, and then I looked up that recently, and it all fell through. I don't know.
Well, he wasn't the one who made the announcement. BBC America made the announcement.
On what?
About Sam and Twitch.
Oh, okay.
So these are characters based in the Spawn universe. They had their own spin-off series of comics for a while. They're the homicide detectives that often not partner up, but kind of assist Spawn. So the show is going to be a procedural crime show tied into the occult. And Kevin Smith is going to be writing, directing, and executive producing.
Well, I guess we'll have to see.
I mean, Kevin Smith can do good properties. Like, he hasn't been, so even though he hasn't done Clerks 2 or
Sam and Twitch 3, is such a weird one to pitch. That's so off. No one knows about Sam and Twitch except hardcore Spawn fans that don't even exist anymore.
So they may be able to bring in some of the villains and some of the adversaries from the Spawn universe.
Oh, so now it's Gotham, is what it is. It's an animated Gotham.
Not animated. I think it's live action.
Huh.
What? Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to see what they do.
Did you just assume it was animated like I did?
I did.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a good animated show.
I'm sure it would be a great animated show, but I think if you're trying to do a procedural crime drama, you gotta root it a bit in the real world. I was gonna say beyond that, speaking of sequels and reboots, Keanu Reeves has given us a few more details about Bill and Ted 3. He was on Graham Norton recently, and he was giving us some insight to what the story is going to be. Both Bill and Ted are now in their 50s, still married to the medieval princesses, and now they have kids. So on that alone, Keanu is very pleased. He already thinks it's hilarious. Once just like before, it is now on the responsibility of Bill and Ted to help save the world. So they have to write a song that's going to save the world. And like before,
isn't it that they just forgot or something? And
they just kept putting it off, and they're like, we keep running out of time. And then someone from the future comes back and tells them, if you guys don't do this, it's not just the world anymore. The universe is starting to fall apart.
See, now that's the kind of meta that I like.
Yeah, time is starting to fall apart.
That is fantastic. Okay. I'm sold. I was first going to say, did anyone really ask for Bill and Ted 3?
I didn't, but I'll see it.
But I'll take it. I'll take it with their serving.
I'm definitely going for a marathon on that one. We got to watch the first two right before going to watch the third one. It's got to be back to back to back. 9 hours of Bill and Ted.
Excellent.
Well, 6 hours of Bill and Ted.
Sounds like a party.
Master Bruce, you live on an island, figuratively and literally.
Yeah, I love it.
You can't spend the rest of your life alone, dressed in black, listening to angry music and staying up all night.
Yes, I can, because I'm Batman.
But don't you think it's time you finally faced your greatest fear?
Snakes?
No.
Clowns?
No.
Snake clowns?
Bruce, listen. Your greatest fear is being a part of a family again.
No, now it's snake clowns because you put that idea in my head.
Okay, so we just came from the movie. We haven't talked about it.
I didn't like it.
Didn't like what?
Well, no, you can still.
I fell asleep in the middle of the movie. I didn't like the movie at all.
So you're saying you fell asleep?
I fell asleep in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
I didn't
thought
like
it was
it.
a lot of fun.
I loved it. I found myself laughing harder than anyone else in the theater, and at the jokes no one else laughed at except you. Sometimes Dave would come off with a laugh alongside
Playing at
me.
the scene of Free Willy.
I love
fantastic. The menagerie of villains that he introduced at the beginning. He starts rambling through like, yeah, know that one. Condiment Man. What? Are you making those up?
So why didn't you like it, Mike?
I just felt like, okay, it's hard to.
Because you don't like anything.
It seemed like they were trying. It seemed like they were trying too hard. So, like good kid movies, Shrek and that type thing, have adult pieces thrown in, and this one almost felt like they forced them into the movie just so they could say, oh, we got those funny adult jokes in there too. They didn't flow like they did
nothing about Shrek flows. Nothing about its pop culture, horrifically dated pop culture references.
Not when it was
when
new.
you watch them, they are just shoehorned in a horrible manner that just slapped on there with a tack. And
Okay,
then
I'm sorry. I was talking about Shrek, not whatever Shrek number they're on now. The first one.
talking about all of them, they just sort of jam those in there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good because they didn't shy away from they were. It was a cheesy movie.
Yeah,
but it was cheesy from the moment the screen went black and the movie was starting. They started layering on the cheese and they didn't stop until.
And it was very much in the vein of the first Lego movie as well.
Yeah.
It's
think
something
so?
that they established, this sort of ridiculous tongue-in-cheek, on-the-nose thing that they established in the first one, which they carried over.
See, I thought the first one was way better.
Oh, certainly, of course, I definitely agree. The Lego movie is a far better movie than this one was. This
they had
was
more to
like
play with.
This was a silly sort of sidetrack, not like any sort of official sequel or anything, but still, you know, with what they had with Batman and all his mythos and all his characters, I thought they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I guess I just it felt like they forced in all the pop culture references and it just didn't feel like a cohesive storyline.
See, I thought they went the other way with it. Well, because they kept doing very abrupt, very on the nose stuff, they weren't subtle about it. They just hit it again and again, like the moral of the story of, you know, you need your family. You can't do things on your own. That wasn't a subtle message. That was smacked in your face.
And that's expected
every
because it's a
5
kids
minutes.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's a kids movie. Lego movie is just a kids movie. It has, you know, the message for the kids, but also has a lot of great nods and humor for the adults as well.
I did like the Daleks. It was
the British robots.
The British
robots.
They referred to.
I mean, that was the thing. There's
hilarious.
just that was hilarious. That was a great joke, and that's a kind of a timeless joke, even in its own way. It's Doctor Who, right?
Doctor Who. Why can't I remember? Voldemort. There you go.
Yeah, Voldemort
and
and
everyone. The
which is
King
the
Kong.
Gremlins. Obviously fed them after midnight.
What was the thing from Clash of the Titans?
like a Kraken or something.
That was the Kraken. Yeah.
No, there was no Kraken there.
That was the original Kraken from the
Oh,
original
I
Clash
didn't
of the
see it.
Titans. That was the water monster, the thing that was blowing
No,
fireballs.
no, that guy.
That wasn't Godzilla.
No, I know it wasn't Godzilla. It was more like Creature from the Black Lagoon or something.
Yeah.
No, way too big for the Creature of the Black Lagoon. That
yeah,
was the original
but-
Kraken.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well,
We're gonna need some sources on
That's
that one.
fine. We can come back to that with proof. But no,
Sauron.
it's absolutely the Kraken.
The Eye of
Yeah.
Sauron was pretty good. Yeah.
Was that voice from? I recognized the voice from that New Zealand band.
Not
Flight of the Conchords.
Thank you. Yes.
Maybe. I would not be surprised. The amount of voices that I recognize in this thing as people I've heard in other comedy things or animated things.
Fantastic.
I can't put the names to them, but I recognized voices. I recognized common voice actor voices that are just like, oh, it's that guy, oh, it's that guy. And I can't even think of their names
Well, you
right now.
caught Two-Face.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. Well, because at first I noticed that it looked like him. I'm like, they have African-American man on one half of the Two-Face face. And I'm like, when have they ever done that? Oh, wait a minute. Batman 1989 with Billy D. Williams. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And sure enough, there it was in the credits.
And how in this movie they referenced all the recent, not even the recent Batman movies. Like they brought
They had
everything
great callbacks to all the previous
I did
Batman.
enjoy that part. I thought that was funny. When
Yeah.
they jump back through all it.
Yeah.
And even this one.
And they did, and then
the-
back in the 60s.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a fun movie. It wasn't.
Oh, yeah,
It
you're right.
never
It
took
is
it-
the original Kraken.
Yeah, I told
Looking
you.
at it, that is exactly the original Kraken from the original movie.
I don't remember it spitting fireballs before.
No, probably didn't.
I thought it spit ice. And
or ice balls or
Ice
whatever
balls.
it was. Yeah, no, I thought it never took itself seriously. But it had some smart jokes in there.
Oh, I thought I recognized him. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Guess who the Riddler was?
Who?
Conan O'Brien.
Conan
Conan O'Brien was the Riddler.
That's funny.
I noticed it, but I couldn't put my finger
I
on it.
recognize
wouldn't
Eddie Izzard
think
as
of
Voldemort.
but well, what's funny was who played Voldemort. Ralph Fiennes.
In this?
Yeah. Well, no, in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he did the voice for Alfred in this movie we just saw.
Yeah.
So they actually got him, but didn't get him to
couldn't-
do Voldemort. But I recognized Voldemort's voice. He's the guy who does the voices in...
Eddie Izzard.
Huh?
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah. And it's like he does so many voices, and you recognize him from so many things.
Yeah, I love him.
Seth Green was King Kong. Channing Tatum was Superman.
I thought so.
Oh, that's who
Jonah
it was.
Hill was the Green Lantern.
Who was the Flash?
The Flash was Adam Devine.
Okay.
Hector Alonso was Jim Gordon. Mariah Carey played the mayor. This is a star-studded cast right here.
Well, it's also everybody's buddy cast. Like these people do movies for each other all the time. And
Doug
appear all
Benson
the time.
played Bane.
Don't know who that is.
Doug Benson is one of the Joe Rogan's homies, the always high guys.
Oh, okay.
You'd know him if you saw him.
Okay.
Type thing.
Super Jaime, he did a documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The voices were great. The animation was a lot of fun. It was the exact same style they had from the Lego movie with the sort of pseudo stop motion style to everything.
Yeah, everything looked like it could actually, every scene, I don't know if they actually make it out of Lego, but it looks like it could be made out of Lego.
No, it's all
like
computer.
everything is...
Yeah. So they kept that, which was great. Really makes it feel like it still sort of ties in with it, even though just tangentially with Batman. But it's just a fantastic movie. It was great.
I thought it was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely enjoyable. Definitely enjoyable.
Well, you said you fell asleep.
I
Well,
did,
so then
but
what did you fall asleep to then? Because it
It
was
was
very
just-
action-packed, and it was sort of non-stop, and it's crazy.
I don't know. It just seemed. It seemed too kiddie. It had little bits that were enjoyable, and the rest of it was just.
They
Kind
even
of
had a
together.
use for the shark repellent.
It was, but it's like, yeah, it's supposed
Shark
to.
repellent.
It's supposed to be kiddie.
Yeah, the bat shark
I
repellent.
remember him picking him up off the.
Yeah, and
okay.
he used it to,
Just to do the shark later on in the movie.
Okay.
yeah, it was very childish. 100% it
I
was.
slept through that part.
But that's
I remember him
fine.
using it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's supposed to be in this movie. It's Legos.
No,
Like
I
we're
understand.
seeing
but
living like action figures that someone did. Like someone could have made this in their backyard when they were 6, and that's the appeal of it. Well, you know
I was expecting more of the first one, and I don't feel like this one lives up to the first one. I mean, I know sequels don't normally live up to the original.
I didn't
but
see it as a sequel. I saw.
I didn't see this. Yeah, I was about to say I didn't see this as a sequel. I saw this as a new
It's sort of its,
movie in the same
Right. medium
medium instead of a sequel.
but still probably in the same universe. I mean, I was almost expecting when they started talking about how the table will break as a,
And
or
see, that
like
would
the
have
base
been-
will break if there's a bomb underneath of the city. And I'm thinking, we're on that table in the kid's basement again. We're gonna have Will Ferrell come out again.
And we should have. I mean, that
That would have been overdone then at that point.
There should have been some real world. This is Legos.
Well, yeah,
this is
they
toys.
did
didn't
say
have
though that when you fall down into the chasm below, it's forever. Like it's never going to be
And
found
didn't
again.
it smelled like dirty underwear.
Yeah, it's not dirty underwear. So it's still there's a slight nod, but it still is existing in the same universe and is sort of a sequel in a way. Obviously, whatever Lego movie sequel they do come out with will probably be called Lego Movie 2.
Well, they even made reference to Master Builder. Like he still built things from the environment as he would go.
Yeah, it would have been. I think they needed that nod to have the kid playing with the Legos.
Now, this is the director of this one was not the same as the first one or the Lego Movie. This was directed by Chris McKay, who is 1/4 of the Robot Chicken group.
Oh, nice.
And it's kind of his first big.
I think I
big
heard
feature.
Seth Green at one point too.
Seth Green was King Kong.
Well, yeah, he
You
said
that
said
right.
his,
I think you
yeah.
said Seth Rogen.
No, he said Seth Green, and Joe Rogan was something else.
Right.
And yeah, so it's I think good job on this guy. He did a good job.
The soundtrack was fun.
Mm-hmm. I had really enjoyed myself watching it, and definitely want to see it again. And we'll probably be picking that up.
Glad you two enjoyed it.
All right, let's move on to our top 5.5 list. Every week we like to count down our top 5.5 movies related to a theme. To start us off, the theme is going to be movies based on inanimate objects, or really just movies where the inanimate object or objects are the main character or focus of the movie.
Harry,
What?
it's an inanimate f***ing object.
You're an inanimate f***ing object!
We'll start with number 5, what we think the best movie with a...
I want to see Dave try and explain this number 5.
Yeah, no,
this was his idea.
I am in protest of this number 5.
Yeah, I did as well.
So number 5 wasn't just one movie, but it was 3 movies with a cameo in others. It's Lord of the Rings.
Go ahead. Sell us. Sell the public.
The focus of these movies is the inanimate object, is the ring. The precious little ring.
The Ring is the most overrated MacGuffin in movie history. It's just, sometimes it has a mind of its own, maybe. Sometimes it's doing the will of an evil Dark Lord, maybe. Who knows? It's just something that they drag around their neck from point to point. Remember, it's the journey that matters. It's not the thing that's dragging them on this journey.
Here's the worst part. So the ring wants to get back to Sauron, right? Sauron is at the volcano that can destroy the ring.
Yes.
Why doesn't Frodo just put the ring on, run to have no middle? He can just run straight there.
Leroy Jenkins!
He can Leroy Jenkins it, then take the ring off when he gets there, throw it in, and it's over.
Why didn't they just ride the giant birds all the way there?
That's
I mean, look, you
option.
can't keep asking why all the time. You're right. So...
But I mean, it was you can't deny that
it's
the Lord of the
unique.
Rings, it is an inanimate object. It's not just the one movie. It was multiple movies. Made a cameo in the Hobbit movies as well.
Well, we'll squeak. I guess we squeaked that one into 5th place.
Yeah, that's where we threw that there.
In 4th place, we've got...
I don't even like the movie. Toy Story.
How do you not like Toy Story?
My objection. I feel like we had to throw Toy Story in here because who couldn't? It's obviously about a movie of toys coming to life, but I don't know, man. It just didn't do it for me. I know I'm not.
Toy.
No. Yes. And like everybody, of course, I played with my toys and had little adventures with them, and they did all sorts of things. And maybe I thought they moved around when I wasn't there. Sure, but
I cried
for some
more
reason,
during their movies than during Schindler's List. So emotional.
We're supposed to cry during Schindler's List.
So, Toy Story.
Toy Story got 4th.
I love Toy Story. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Again, a group of inanimate objects that spans 3 movies, and I think they've done like a Christmas special or something too.
I'm pretty sure there's more than 3 movies. There's a porn parody too.
Well, that comes with any movie. You've done it. You've made your mark in the movie industry when they decide to make a porn parody.
Porn parody?
Yeah.
In 3rd place, my personal favorite on our list is Jumanji.
Which does not have a porn parody.
Thankfully.
Actually, we might want to revisit that.
Do not Google that.
I remember when this movie first came out, we went and saw it as a family, and my little brothers were scared to death and had to leave the theater 20 minutes in. It was excellent.
Now, are they inanimate objects? Because they're people. They're things. They're running around. There's people there.
But the movie is based on.
They're playing a board game. They're playing the game.
And the game plays them.
And they're making a remake of it, which I think I'm okay with.
Starring The Rock.
Yeah, it's
Karen
a different
Gillian
yeah. So in that movie, I think we're going to get a better idea of the world inside the game.
So they're like expanding the mythology of the Jumanji game universe.
Well, they had a cartoon based on that premise. It was the kids that were playing the game. So I think it was supposed to be before the game was over. They got pulled into the game, back in with Robin Williams' character, and they were trying to survive.
Oh,
it was really
interesting.
Bad. Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm looking forward to the movie.
No, I'll definitely check that.
Yeah, I really like Jumanji a lot. I'd like to see what else they can do with it. I suppose in a remake, because you always have the original.
It also seems a little bit more like a sequel than a remake.
That would be nice.
Which is always a bonus.
Yeah,
or reimaging.
God.
Reimagining.
Moving on to number 2. Number 2, best, I suppose,
this was a
movie.
Really cool movie.
Yeah. We're going with Her. This was my idea, but everyone agreed with it. Her, the movie with Joaquin Phoenix, and falling in love with Scarlett Johansson in computer form.
Who doesn't love Scarlett Johansson?
Right.
So is Ghost in the Shell a sequel to Her?
Yeah, completely.
So that's what happens after the end of Her. Have you seen it?
I a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, because you know how all the AIs basically they leave Earth, so obviously they've come back.
Yep.
In Ghost in the Shell.
Yep.
This is what happens when Joaquin Phoenix has sex with a computer. We get.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
the first computer virus.
Why do you think there's a vibrate feature on your phone?
All right.
So Her, great movie.
Her was really. It was great because it was also really fun in terms of exploring the ideas. When they have an artificial intelligence, and that artificial intelligence is independent. So it starts as a servant, then a companion, to Joaquin's Phoenix, becomes its own identity, but it also they seem to help each other become more than what they were originally programmed to, right? So you really see this evolution of an artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They start bringing back other collective consciousness by going through literature and notes about different famous characters. They try to recreate them as AIs to expand humanity's knowledge and understanding of these people. Yeah, I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I don't think I've ever been excited about an OS before.
I thought you were a Mac guy. You're not loving Sierra?
It's certainly not. What's her name?
Her? No,
Yeah.
What was her name?
Scarlett Johansson?
I know. What was her name in the movie?
Don't remember. Gwendolyn?
No. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Number one, though, is
I
very
think we all
obvious, I'm
agreed
sure,
on.
to everybody.
The Lego Movie.
The Lego Movie.
Oh, I love this movie. There's so many things I loved seeing this when I was watching this movie, but one of my favorite points was the 80s Spaceman. And the fact...
Because I had the one just like it, with the same crack in the same place.
Same crack in that... Every one of them that I had all those helmets, and they all had that crack.
Yep, it was either broken and off, or
the entire bottom part was missing. Yeah.
Yep.
It was just that idea. It was just that attention to detail. I thought was really cute, really fun.
Yeah, and it's the ultimate, I think, inanimate objects come to life movie. It's the Legos that we all played with as kids and that you see everywhere, and that you want to see them in action finally, and they did a great job.
Which of course has now spawned the movie we're reviewing today, the Lego Batman.
That movie. We already reviewed.
We already reviewed. I'm sorry. The Lego Batman movie. They've got another one in the works. A Ninjago.
Based on the ninjas, which you think would be dumb, maybe, but actually looks kind of.
I was gonna
funny.
say I didn't know anything about these ninjas, but I saw the trailer. I'm like, yeah, I'll check that out.
Like, I kind of want the.
It's kind of like a Lego Voltron. It looks like.
Yeah.
So for our 0.5, something a little different, we have weird science. No real.
How is that different than her? That's just someone falling in love with the computer program.
Because it was them creating a physical human being from a computer program.
Yeah.
To be their sex slave.
Is that what that movie was about? I guess I missed the subtext.
Please tell me you didn't miss the sub. You really missed that?
No, I'm shaking my head.
Their whole point of bringing this girl to life was because they had no luck with women, so we're gonna make a woman that we can just use as we like.
Yeah, see, Joaquin Phoenix convinced the computer to fall in love with him.
Yeah,
it's a difference.
Right, so much more effort. Like these kids were obviously legions smarter.
Yeah, it was probably a spam bot on Tinder that they downloaded.
Right.
All right, so that's our top 5.5 list of best movies with inanimate objects. Moving on, just to close out the show, we'd like to go around the table and bring up some things we've seen or read lately, and we'd like to recommend watching or maybe recommend against watching. Something that I actually just saw is a movie called The Neon Demon. Just a few days ago, I was watching Nicholas Winding Refn's movie. It's the latest film. He's the director of the movie Drive, starring Ryan Gosling, which itself was pretty intense. But this movie just ratchets it up, the uncomfortable violence and tension far more than with Drive. And it's really hard. I don't know if I can recommend this or not. I feel like it really takes a special kind of moviegoer to really enjoy this director's work. Have you guys seen Drive?
I have not.
I've
heard really good things about it, but
right?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
it
very
was
good
definitely,
movie.
I remember everyone was beating the crap out of it, how it was horrible. And then I watched it and I thought, oh, that must have been talking about some other movie. Because it was so well done.
Mm-hmm. Visually it was beautiful. The character was messed up.
And for a guy that says like 3 words in the entire movie, it is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
So a lot of that goes here with this one. In this movie, The Neon Demon, it's about a 16-year-old girl going to LA to become a model. And just the shit that goes down is ridiculous. I highly recommend the movie just based on its visual design alone. It is just beautifully shot, incredible use of high contrast and neon colors to just sort of illuminate areas very intensely. It has an amazingly original techno soundtrack that's just has so much emotion that you don't even need to. You can just look into the character's eyes, and the music that that is playing just sort of directs you how you should feel. Like it's just this incredible audio and visual experience, but it is fucked up. This movie will make you severely uncomfortable, and I don't want to explain why or how, because you need to experience in the moment yourself the uncomfortableness, but it's disturbing enough to not for me to not want to go back to again. So it's like I really couldn't recommend anyone to watch this, except
but you're saying that you do need to experience it for yourself.
You do.
So you are, I guess, is it in the sense that in like a car crash, not to tie back to Drive, but in the sense of a car crash, you don't want to see it, but if you see it, you cannot deny.
Almost, except, I mean, that kind of implies that maybe the movie might be bad, because a car crash is bad. This is more like, bad. No, it was amazing.
Oh, okay.
I freaking loved it.
But you don't want to recommend it.
No, because it's hard to watch, man. It is beautiful and incredible, but it's like how I think of it is like it's like art, where with a lot of nudity in it and blood. And so some people will say, "Oh, look at that! That looks quite lovely. Oh yes, I'll buy that for $1 million." And other people will be like, "That is straight fucked up. I want nothing to do with it."
Okay, I see. I had the same thing with the Snowden movie. Not quite the same reasoning behind it. I just don't think that anyone should watch a movie that makes them want to go home and rip their computer apart.
Oh yeah, that was a very unsettling movie.
Oh God,
man, then you guys can't handle this.
Even if it's only half true, even if only half the stuff that they claim that the U.S. can do in that movie is true, that's still very 10 times more than they should be allowed to do.
Although I did like just one of the ideas that I got from that movie about, if you want to make sure that your cell phone's not going to be picking up any signals or anything, throw it in the microwave. Because I'm like, what? Is he going to nuke the phones? I'm like, no, the microwaves are designed to block radiation.
Yeah.
Because you don't want your food that you're cooking to radiate you. And I'm like, it's something that's already in your house. That's so brilliant. Mm-hmm. Simple but brilliant.
I just went and saw The Great Wall. And
that's with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon,
The Last Samurai.
Yeah. Well, no. So he's a European who came to Asia to get the gunpowder from them. He's a merchant, I guess we'll say.
Okay.
So I'm not spoiling anything because he's not a merchant. He's not a merchant.
Spoilers.
No spoilers. No. Staying away from the spoilers. He's not a merchant. So that's why they got a white guy to play the lead character, which he's definitely.
So that's how they justified having a white guy.
He's not really the main character. He's really there's two main characters. It's him and the protector of the wall are the two main characters.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a artfully done action movie. Mm-hmm. But it's an action movie. So you've got the cheesy one-liners and the over-the-top action. But at the end of the day, it's a very enjoyable movie.
And didn't I hear you mention that it's also very much like an Asian action movie? So
yes.
A lot of
yes.
Choreography and the flying through the air.
Yep.
Nice.
Very, very, very enjoyable. Easy to watch action movie.
Sounds good.
And I'm going to take us out of the digital medium. Well, not entirely out of the digital medium. To a book instead of a movie or a show.
What's a book?
A book is when you collect your chat history and emails and you line them one after another. So it's kind of like your Facebook feed.
Snowden.
So the book that I want to bring up is called The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. Claire North is actually the pseudonym for an author named Catherine Webb. The reason I like this book so much is it's kind of a time travel book, but it's not. It introduces this unique idea for time travel where you live, it's kind of like Groundhog Day in terms of your life. So you live that same life over and over again. But not everything's exactly the same. So for the main character, like Harry August, he talks about how his mother always dies between the ages of 7 and 10. Never at the same time, never on the same day, but she'll always die within that period. And he's not alone in this. So every time he dies at the end of his life and he's reborn, his life starts over at the beginning and he starts getting all of his memories back. Usually it doesn't all come back till you're about age 5. Otherwise you'd go insane as a 2-year-old wondering why you're thinking like an 80-year-old. I don't want to go into a lot of the details, but he's not alone. There are others that exist like this. And it gives a unique idea in terms of communicating through time, because there are people who are older than him or younger than him that also do the same thing. So if you want to find out something in the past, you find someone who's very old when you're very young, ask them the question. On their next pass through, they can then pass that message back through times. Granted, it takes generations to do so, but
that's really
you can
cool.
actually send information back and forward through the timeline.
I have got to watch this or read
This is a book.
It's
Is it multiple books or just one?
It's just one.
What's it called again?
The First 15 Lives of Harry August.
Oh, lives.
Lives, yes.
I thought it was the first 15 lines.
Yeah,
I thought it was
of what?
Lines of a play or something.
Yeah, lines of like lifelines.
No,
lives make so much more
lives.
sense though.
First
I don't know why I didn't think that.
Lives. All right, Jeff, check that out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it for the show, everyone. Thank you for listening. We really hope you've enjoyed yourselves. If you'd like to contact the show, you can do so at contact@shiftingfocuspodcast.com. Please visit our website at www.shiftingfocuspodcast.com. And there you'll find links to our various social media pages. Our Twitter is @ShiftFocusPod, and for Facebook and YouTube, just search for the Shifting Focus Podcast. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll find videos relating to our shows, and if you'd like to support the show, look for us on Patreon. More details are there. Thank you for joining this week. Mike?
See you guys next weekend.
Dave?
Take care.
Thank you.
Powerless.
Yes.
It's so bad.
So bad.
I'm still watching it.
I'm still watching it. I love the intro.
Oh, the intro is amazing. That intro is incredible. It was so well done. It really hooked me. I'm like, this is going to be a great show.
Such a bad show,
Oh,
though.
it was so bad. Actually, you know what? Actually, was really good. Okay, the second episode I thought was really bad. It was fully so cliched. It was terrible. It was everything we've ever seen in a show like this before, and they did nothing new. However, the third episode with the Atlanteans killed it.
Yes.
Actually, the Atlanteans joke.
On. There's a third episode?
Yeah. I just realized that. I forgot. The show actually got kind of good on the third one.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Was it
Sinking Day?
Yeah.
And they're like, I have a best sinking day party annually. And Aquaman comes like, so Aquaman? You introduce us to Aquaman? There's these blonde Swedes that are beautiful people, and they're so perfect for Atlanteans.
And Ron Funch's character is also from Atlantis.
I'm from Atlantis. They said you were from Atlanta.
No, that's just your racism hearing that.
Donald Glover. Yeah, I was actually, you know what? I completely forgot. Yeah, the third episode.
Donald Glover's in the third episode? Oh.
Yeah, he said you're just confusing me with Donald Glover. He's from Atlanta.
Okay.
He's like, that's just the racism in you.
So they need to do more of what they did in that. They really made it like the whole business merger thing different by grounding it in this dumb comic world that they decide to go with.
Yeah,
so they have to do that all the time.
Enterprises.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know what I'm watching when we finish recording.
And we
this.
brought tuna. Oh, you have tuna? He is our best friend.
The best friend of the Atlanteans.
Atlantis, which is, as they're wheeling this carved up tuna ready to be served, they're like, push it away, push it